Hello everyone, welcome to Shiva Teja IAS. As the days are getting closer to prelims, one important question which is being repeatedly asked is how many tests they have to write and how they should be practicing. So today we are going to figure out what should be your strategy for any test series, be it XYZ, any test series, what should be your strategy and how you should be approaching it. Before getting into know how many tests, okay, so before knowing how, you should be knowing why. Actually, why are you giving the test or why are you practicing the test? What is the motto or the purpose behind it? If you ask me clearly, I find three reasons behind practicing test series. Okay, so the first and foremost is it acts as a diagnostic tool, just like identifying if there is any disease. What we'll be doing, we'll be taking most of the times a test, just like a blood test. So you want to find out what is the disease or what is the illness. So similarly, to find out what is the weakness of your preparation in particular subject or overall in the complete full test, what is your weak area? Identifying the exact area is the key purpose of any test. So this is the major important prime purpose you will be noticing. So why are we giving the test? The purpose is it acts as a diagnostic tool. And next thing is that we all know that UPSC has a general tendency to give you questions of a particular pattern. Okay, so that's important to have a pattern recognition. So if you look at all the previous year questions, there will be some pattern that is observed. And every single student these days who are preparing for the prelims are aware of these patterns. Okay, they are aware about these patterns because you find plenty of elimination tricks videos. But the issue is not with knowing the patterns, but applying. Okay, so in order to execute those patterns and see how these tricks are working in the exam, and you have to know that whether you are able to do it or not. So mastering the elimination tricks, it's not about knowing the elimination tricks but mastering it, so that you internalize things. Tomorrow if any such question comes, immediately you get a notice that okay, this is the reason why UPSC has framed the statement in so and so manner. It has exchanged the words, it has used some extreme sentences. So these kind of things you'll be able to identify and execute it if you are practicing thoroughly. So this is the second purpose. And the third thing is building the temperament for the last day of the examination. So when you sit for a test, you should sit in exam environment so that you get accustomed to that kind of environment on the final day. You are not under pressure. See what happens, when you give a test on the final day, your final prelims test or final prelims examination of UPSC, you'll be noticing that many of your evaluators, if I have to say that, invigilators who come there, they have to complete all their process that is asked to be done. So in their process, you might get disturbed. They keep talking to the people who come there, they'll keep announcing something. So this you should get habituated to. So when you sit for a mock test, you come across such environment and you get accustomed to it. So you have to deal the exam even when the disturbance is surrounded by you. Okay, so you'll sit for the exam and in the surroundings some work will be happening and continuously you'll be noticing some noise. You cannot complain to anyone. You cannot leave the exam in between, or you cannot question anyone. So you'll be in a helpless position. So you have to build your temperament that irrespective of the any disturbance, irrespective of the any noise, still you will maintain that calm and composure and attempt the exam. So don't give exams under AC conditions. Try to give it in realistic conditions because it's going to be in government institutions most of the times. So building the temperament is the third reason why you'll be taking up the mock test. So these are the reasons. So when these are the reasons, why should we be bothering about the number? Okay, so the purpose is to identify the weakness. So your core target is to identify where you are weak and master all the tricks that you learn by knowing the PYQs. And next thing is building the temperament. So we are looking for something very practical, realistic, because you might have seen there are people who have given 100 tests. And I personally know there are people, even after giving 100 tests, they failed in the prelims examination. And I know people who are scoring very less in their practice tests, they've made it to mains. Now, what's the reason for this gap? The reason is that focusing on the quantity and not the quality. You should not rush yourself. So, the golden rules that you have to follow here when you're writing the test series is when you're attempting a mock, when you are taking a mock test, after attempting it, you have to analyze where you are going wrong. What is making you commit mistake? Is it your less concentration? Is it lack of knowledge? Or is it lack of practice, lack of revision? What is the key concern over there? If you don't identify it, then the mock itself is waste of time. And how much time you should give for analysis? For every test, at least 2 to 3 hours you have to spend for analysis. So for every 100 questions, if it is 50 questions, at least 1 to 1.5 hours is fine. So analysis is very important. Do not skip analysis after the test. And next, identify and know the weak areas. Okay, so which is your weak area? If you are attempting a test, so is polity, is economy, or within economy or polity there is a particular unit which you might be weak. Identify those weak areas and then note it on a paper so that next time when you are attempting any test or when you are preparing for the test, your major focus will go on to those areas so that you strengthen them and don't repeat the same mistake when it comes in the examination. Because many a times what students do, they will attempt the mock, they won't analyze, and they keep repeating same mistake again and again. That's why their scores plateau. They won't improve beyond 70 to 80 marks. Always it is around 70 to 80. Why? Because you're not analyzing what you're doing. And some people think that they will give the test without preparation and they'll do the reverse engineering. That is fine, but it would be good only for some areas of the syllabus. For entire syllabus, you cannot do the same. It is important to have the conceptual clarity and the core concepts at your fingertips for this examination. So ensure that at least most of the subjects are done. Few subjects you can do through the reverse engineering. So it is important that when you are giving a test, okay, so when you are giving a test, before that you go through the syllabus parallelly and prepare for it and then give the test. Don't randomly attempt the test. Okay, and now we have a limited number of days or hours in front of us, and how we should be managing how many tests are practically possible in the given time. So I would say that in the first 30-35 days, try to complete your complete core conceptual areas like polity, history, geography, economy. So try to complete them and try to attempt at least 3 to 4 sectional, because see, the sectional test will tell you which areas you are weak. Okay, and now you can focus on those areas when you are revising, re-revising in the second and third iterations. Or else what you'll do, you'll read all the units with equal weightage and you'll not focus on the weak areas, and that means you are spending time in wrong area which won't give you any outcome. So your productivity is very minimum. So what is very important here is that identifying the weak areas, and that identification comes through sectional test. So at least 12 sectional tests, 10 to 12 sectional tests for these subjects would be good. Then in the second phase, what you can do is you can integrate the tests, especially with current affairs. Okay, so now in this area also you can give another 10 to 15 sectional tests. Okay, so which includes current affairs. So here you should be focusing on areas like science and technology, environment, IR and mapping, because most of the questions in UPSC from these subjects surround the current affairs. So in this second phase, you should consolidate these things and ensure your first and second are revised repeatedly and you are attempting the test so that you are learning anything that is missed in the current affairs. So another 10 to 15 tests or 8 to 10 tests you can attempt in this area. So here 6 to 8 tests, maximum 12, and here 8 to 10, maximum 14. Okay, see, I'm telling you based on the time that is available and which is very practical. So here you should ensure that you're mastering the elimination techniques, and if you are attempting the tests with certain elimination techniques and they're not working, so you have to refine them. You should change according to you, because not all the tricks works for everyone. So you should know which tricks are working for you. So that's very, very important. So here you will refine your strategy. So in the first, you are focusing on the conceptual areas where you are weak and you are working on them. In the second, you are trying to understand where the current affairs are coming from and you are covering your current affairs and all the things that you have learned in the previous tests and the techniques you will implement here, and all your PYQs which have taught you the elimination techniques. Now those things, are they working for you? Which elimination trick you are failing to attempt successfully? So now notice them and try to refine them, because you can't blindly imitate others or blindly imitate the strategies that is being told by somebody on YouTube. So even if I'm telling something, you should analyze it carefully, and if it suits you, then only you have to apply it. Don't follow anyone blindly. So that's the second thing. And in the third phase, you should attempt test every 3 to 4 days. And in this phase, you can go for another 10 tests. So this is the third phase. So here the focus is on composure. So here in the second stage, it's your techniques and refinement of strategy. The third stage is only to check whether whatever readiness you have prepared for, are you being that in the examination. So if not, where it's going wrong, slowly improve on them, because you can never be 100% perfect. So just always try to maintain composure in the exam and see that if you are missing something, you learn from it. Okay, so don't leave your mistakes like that. Any wise man won't commit the same mistake again, and that has been said by many great people again and again. So if you are learning a particular thing and attempting a test and get to know that you're committing a mistake, and if you repeat it, then you're lost again. So please do not commit the same mistake again. And that's the reason 50 to 60% of the people lose the cutoff by just 5 to 10 marks, because they have committed the same mistakes that they have done in the mock test they have practiced. So now the ideal number at this point of time is 30 to 45. And why? Because you have to balance things. Because if you don't analyze, there is no point of the test. And you will be having a limited capacity to observe now. So your focus should be on core identifying, because I've already done the video on high yielding topics. Okay. So all the high yielding topics, there is a PDF also, I'll be posting the link. So all the high yielding topics have to be given more priority, and first they should be covered. Then you should attempt the test and see other areas which are in news, and then see the refinement strategy, elimination tricks, covering your current affairs. Then in the final stage, attempting the test in such a way to know your readiness. So this would be the best number to balance at this point of time. Don't plan for 50, 100 tests, because which is not practical. So given time only permits you this. So ensure that you are executing things and not just planning for it. So you can make n number of plans, but without execution, then there is no use of them. So This is a tentative one. Some people can attempt 30, some people can attempt 45, because some people focus on analyzing things in detail, and some people try to do the analysis on specific areas and learn from them. Okay, so it varies from person to person. So this is the ideal number. So even the test series, Lakshya test series, which we have been doing for our students, focuses on the same thing, because beyond this you cannot attempt. So we also have 30 sectional tests and 15 full length tests. So this will help you prepare for the UPSC style of examination and attempt the things and analyze where you're going wrong. Especially here, we are trying to integrate the current affairs PYQs so that you learn the elimination techniques. At the same time, all the concepts and high yielding areas which UPSC focuses upon, so that you don't miss anything. And we cover here NCRTs and all the important books. So if you feel like you want to know more about the Lakshya test series, you can ping on the given number. They'll help you with that, because we are trying to simulate the exact UPSC style of papers. Okay, so what should be your strategy? How many hours you should be reading? See, don't try to be a Superman here or Superwoman, for the reason that consistency matters more than performing very high on one single day and next day you're taking a break. So you all know that, you already know very well, perseverance and consistency are two important things which UPSC rewards consistently. Okay, so every year those people who are with average knowledge yet consistent have cleared this examination. So stick to a realistic routine and try to focus on 8 to 10 hours a day, not 14 hours. And next thing, you have to divide your slots and take a break whenever needed. Okay, so what we do in the Lakshya, here we have our daily planner, know what exactly to be covered on that particular day, and you have a practice workbook, and so that whatever you have learned, you practice it. And at the same time, at the end of the day, you have a revision summary of what you have read. So last minute revision summary is very very important, because without that, if you put any slot, it's of no use. So for current affairs, be it for static, because for static, most of the times, because we have read the book multiple times, it would be easy. But when you go to the exam on the last day, but you want to revise what you have highlighted, now looking at all the books won't be possible. That's why last minute summary revision sheets become very, very important. So that we'll be doing here. So with this, we'll ensure that our revision happens multiple number of times. At the same time, we'll also ensure that we have covered all the important high yielding areas, current affairs, and revise them multiple times and practice elimination techniques. So anybody, be it any test series, so be it Lakshya test series, you can go for any other test series. If you are following any test series, also try to ensure that your focus is on analysis and application of a strategy, because how many rounds you have to practice, be it 2 rounds, 3 rounds. So these things, I think we can discuss in another video. What should be the strategy in attempting the paper? Okay, so now we took a strategy video on test series, and strategy of attempting a paper, that we'll be looking at later. So or else you might be following someone on any other good faculty who have explained it already, so you can watch there. So here we understood that, so what we should be doing exactly when we do the test series. Okay, focus is on analysis, and the purpose is to identify where you're wrong and work on it and ensure and refine your strategy in the next test. So it should not go waste. So if you are attempting a test and not analyzing it, then it's a time wasted. So please keep this in mind. We'll come up with the further strategy of attempting the test in the next video. Thank you.